Good to have you here in Nigeria. The general election becoming a signatory to the African Continental Free Trade Area, low commodities prices and the constitution of a new federal cabinet and an economic advisory council were some of the noteworthy events that featured prominently in the Nigerian economic landscape in 2019. Earlier in August, Nigeria closed parts of its borders to fight the smuggling of rice and other goods, a move which has increased inflation, according to customers, analysts and economists. On Tuesday, President Muhammadu Buhari signed the 2020 appropriation bill of 10.59 trillion naira into law. This year, Nigeria's economic growth has been fragile, still slightly below the population growth. And joining me this morning to review the performance of the Nigerian economy in 2019 and what measures that needs to be taken to turn its fortunes around as we look ahead to next year is Mr. Bimbo Olashore, the chairman of Olashore International School and chief executive officer, of course, the founder of LEAD CAPITAL PLC as well. Mr. Olashore, it's good to have you with us.
Thank you very much. Good morning.
All right. So firstly, I'd like to view Nigeria's economy in 2019, the challenges and what you feel we could have done better at this rate.
Well, the economy gives some of us what I call goose pimples.
You can say that again.
You do get it. So much potential.
Yeah.
So much potential, but clearly we are not really achieving our potential.
All right.
For this year in particular, sluggish growth. We don't talk about recession anymore, but very sluggish growth. It's lagging population growth. What that means clearly is that people are still slipping into poverty.
Wow.
We see some positive aspects. For the first time, we're ending the year on a lower interest rate. We have been clamoring for that. We've had relatively stable exchange rate, but rising inflation. Job creation is still a bit tepid. But at the same time, the whole country is almost a construction site. So that gives you an idea that hopefully, when some of those key infrastructure kick into place, hopefully the cost of doing business in Nigeria should start coming down.
Yeah.
And hope that hopefully for next year, things will be a lot better. Also remember, this was an election year. So we lost the first quarter when everybody was just saying it's elections, what will happen after elections. We are all still a bit disappointed of elections that the cabinet come out on time. But after that, things started picking up. So on a positive side, we see very strong measures.
Yeah.
We had the issue of the border closure.
True.
Obviously, which is now telling us to look more inwards now. End of the day, I always tell people we can't have a country where we open our borders and keep on dumping goods on Nigeria.
Yeah.
How will our own industries grow if they cannot compete with those coming in? So they need a breathing space. What we look forward to is other complementary policies to support the border closure, because border closure cannot be a government policy.
Indeed.
At some time, you'll have to open it.
Indeed.
So I think those are the issues. We are looking forward to 2020. Budget has been signed, so hopefully, we'll have a full year of budget implementation. So the days of saying 40, 50% budget implementation, we shouldn't have that for next year. So we're looking forward to next year.
Indeed, we are. And not wanting to sound like a broken record now, but are we proactive in the issue of a diversification of the economy and less reliant on our oil proceeds over time? It's been a lingering issue now.
Yes, it has been. But I think for the first time, I think it's also for Nigerians to key into it. What I've seen over the past couple of years has been, first of all, the lack of trust even between Nigerians and their government.
Okay.
So even the government comes up with positive policies, we first come up with the negative aspect or read things into it.
But do you blame Nigerians there? You know,
I know I don't. Clearly, I mean, clearly, trust is a two-way traffic.
Yeah.
What's also telling you is that diversification is something that must happen. We all know what's going to happen to oil price. We all know what's going to happen to oil. New energies are coming in. And so, end of the day, we have to look at other alternatives. My comment also is coming from the side of I've started dabbling into agric. And when I first went into agric,
I was going to ask you that.
People are saying don't go there. But you step back and you ask yourself, this is really a country that must do something in agric. I mean, how come we play lip service? We're all saying diversification, but nobody wants to really go into it. So I said, okay, let me try and see what is happening there. I've been on there for a couple of years, and I can see some of the challenges. But at the same time, there are lots of government policies to support dabbling into agric.
Okay.
I'll give an example. This year, I said, let me key into what's going on textile. They closed the borders. They want to revive textile. I said, okay, let me see. Let me try and see what's going on the cotton rebirth.
Yeah.
The policies came up. People did not believe. When I first registered, next week I got the seedlings, I got the fertilizer. I said, oh, that's very interesting. I didn't have to pay for it. Never that, I was given the cash for clearing and harvesting. So I said, oh, wait a minute. That's a lot of investing. Now we are harvesting now, and it's pretty healthy. So I'm telling others, look, this policy is out there. It's for you to key into it. You can't just be so negative and say, I will not do it. So at what point in time will we say we're going to do things that are positive? A lot is also going to go on solid minerals. I also read in the papers, I hope that's true, that they're going to allow now the states to be the one to give out mining license. These are all positive things that we've been looking forward to.
So to a large extent, the CBN intervention policies in that sector has been working. You've just alluded to that.
Oh, yeah, it has been working. I'm a beneficiary. I mean, what I offer is that at least I will to do more scale. Because mine was just to try and do a pilot scheme, and which was clearly funded, and the harvest was quite good. So I'm saying, wait a minute, I think next year I should be able to do times 10 what I did this year.
All right.
The key now is the offtake. I'm at that critical dilemma in agri. Offtake agreement, and who exactly is going to buy this from me. And unless I see a serious offtaker that is financially viable, I will not scale up the way I'd love to.
And there were those clamoring for a state of emergency in the agricultural sector as one of the key, variants for economic diversification. So do you allude to that belief?
Clearly, because the farmers, they really do need help.
Yeah.
Like I said, I first started by dabbling. I had a decision, should I go into cash crops or more of the food crops? And I said, look, let me try and go for the cash crops, which is more a long gestation period.
True.
So I tried to choose cocoa, which is more prevalent in my own area.
And which is more export-oriented
as well.
It's more
yeah, of course. I mean,
indeed.
Like I said, you always think of offtake. Whatever business you think about, who I'm going to sell this to.
Definitely.
So you ask yourself, let me go for something with that international market.
Indeed.
So if all else fails, if I do the right thing, at least there'll always be a market.
You have the options.
I have the options. So that was why I really went to it.
Yeah.
And going into it now showed me some of the real challenges. Okay. We have challenges even of, first of all, securing your land. I think we had the farmland. When I went for title, I was quite shocked when they gave me the price at which I have to secure the title to the land. I was saying, nobody. And I even made a point. I said, look, nobody is disputing ownership of this land with me. It's very clever. I just said, let me just have title to it. And the kind of money, I said, no farmer is going to pay this kind of capital cost for title. So you're starting from title. And you're almost making the point, please try and waive the kind of fees you want to get, so that people can actually get title. I mean, that title, how do you approach a bank for credit? Yeah. I do agree for central bank, they've not really been asking for a title.
True.
But when you now come into the real commercial market, that will turn up. So you start from title. Then now come to seedlings. Where do you get the seedlings from? I mean, my first set of seedlings, I was almost cheated in terms of what I got. Then you now have the vagaries of the weather. Sometimes we've been very lucky. People see consistent rain, but it's not that consistent. Yeah. The first time I did my cocoa, we had rainfall first year. Second year was fairly okay. Third year, semi-drought. The rains were so late. So you can imagine the capital cost I had to do on irrigation and all that. If I didn't have the wherewithal, I'd have abandoned it. Then I had the normal thing. I had my own car invasion. I've had my own experiences. Yeah. Now I'm about to start investing from next year. Now I'm worried about banditry, stealing. So
which ordinarily shouldn't be
an issue. We shouldn't be. Some of the risks are insurable. So I'm also taking some insurance. I'm also telling insurance companies, please, can you please insure me through the entire value chain, which I'm not really saying, which is a bit of a problem.
But what about the issue of storage? It's also an issue here, in terms of, do you think the private sector can come in? The government can't do it alone.
I do agree. I mean, what I've simply done again is to look at the infrastructure that required. So the first thing I also did was to build a warehouse. So that at least when I do harvest, I have somewhere to store, and hopefully the warehouse can also buy from the neighboring farms around me. Yeah. But really, you ask yourself, do you have to be in the entire value chain? Why can't some grow? Let others be the ones now that will harvest and put in the warehouse. But you just simply realize that if you don't do a lot of all those things, but it also adds to your cost. And those are some of the issues. So what that tells you that farming is becoming unnecessarily capital intensive. Yeah. And clearly it's not the kind of business that can go for double-digit interest rates. You simply cannot survive. And the issues I'm also seeing even has to do, even has things like labor. Yeah. Why do I get labor for harvesting? True. Even when I try to approach people, and that's where I try. When people tell me they do jobs, the first thing I say, come on, there are jobs. I have a job on my farm. But they say, no. I want a job in the city, I want a job in an office. I'm saying, look, there are plenty of jobs out there, but people don't want to do them. And those that want to do the kind of cost. I'm having the same problem with my cotton now. By the time I put in the cost of harvesting, the labor cost, I'm asking myself, this is quite exorbitant. So what that means is that in terms of numbers I'm seeing, is lending itself more to what I call peasant farming, a small landowner of 1 hectare. Therefore, it doesn't cost his labor and his wife and his children. So what that means is that we have to scale up, and that means you must have mechanized farming. You really must now introduce other modern methods so that you can ensure that at least you minimize the labor cost, which is now appearing to be a very significant cost. But again, if you want to do scale on real mechanized farming, you're not talking
that's a
100, 200, 1,000 hectares of land. And it had its own problems if you want to go down there. But it's looking very interesting. But I'll tell people it's really the way to go. It's really the way to go. And the key now is to now go along the value chain. Who are those that are now going to processing? Who are those that are going to packaging? And now, of course, now the issue of selling at the off-taker. But so far, so good. I'm encouraging everybody I see. Please, it's something really.
At least it's a step in the right direction,
yes,
no doubt.
Is.
All right, let's look at the budget, as it were. Which sectors do you think merit the most foremost consideration in terms of development at this stage? There have been issues that, okay, some sectors have been underfunded, as it were, over time, and perhaps we're not seeing. All right, we go ahead.
Capital. You see, you look around and say, these are lack of investment in education and also in health. Will come back and kick us down the road. You can have a large population, maybe a large population that is not healthy, that is not educated. Well, what use is that to anybody?
Good.
So you are trying to look for increased funding along that line. And this,
well, you can't give money to every Nigerian, but at least create the enabling environment for it.
Yes, I do agree. I mean, I can see where the pressure is coming from to create infrastructure, because it's as if Nigerians like things that are visible. They want to see the roads, they want to see the roads, they want to see the railway. So I do agree that's probably the first thing that will win a politician re-election, when it points to roads and railway. But at the same time, our biggest strength is still our human capital. So how do we now make sure it's a very competitive one? If I look at education, fortunately I'm also in a bit of education. You do ask yourself, I do say the education itself, the kind of quality that we're having is not fit for purpose. The kind of graduates, this whole idea everybody wants to go to university and get a certificate. And you ask, where are the jobs? It's all about skills now. It's our education sector delivering people that have skills that will be relevant for Nigeria. That itself has not really been well defined.
Although we're seeing an emergence of technology in this space.
Certainly. But we can do far much more. We can do far much more. End of the day, for the average person, and again, if you look at the way the economy itself is going, most people will probably go 2 or 3 careers and end up working for themselves. So from day one, we must prepare them for entrepreneurship. We must prepare them for marketing. It's not just about, everybody wants to be a doctor and an engineer. You know, ask yourself where exactly are the jobs. So the educational system itself, the curriculum is not delivering that. And again, when we do exams are measuring your ability to really regurgitate facts that are there. But I tell people, putting facts in your head is not going to get you a job today. Google is there. And there's no facts you want now. I will appreciate you if you're able to recite a lot of facts from your brain. But I'm not going to pay you for that, because I'll tell you, look, I'll have to just punch a few buttons and I'll get that. It's really your creativity that really must bring to bear. So really must have a curriculum now that is looking more at creativity, problem solving and things of that nature. So I think that is really what needs to happen down the space.
Very good. And on that note, Mr. Bimbo Olashore, founder, LEAD Capital PLC, a pleasure having you on the program. It's good to have you.
It's a pleasure.
Thank you very much.